2020 with Barbara Walters. Honest parents opening their homes and hearts to talk about their sons. Boys who love to cuddle and kiss, who play house, not war. Boys who have to hide who they are.
So when some boys come over, you put the dolls away?
I put the dolls away, but this is a boy doll, so keep it out.
What does it mean if you have a gentle boy?
I don't know if homosexuality is learned or taught, and I don't want to do anything that might encourage it.
Can't real boys have dolls too? And you've been emailing us with the latest legends of 9/11. Have you heard Osama bin Laden owns Snapple? Or that ironing your mail can prevent anthrax? More rumors being spread, but are they for real? Then, a mother with so much to be thankful for. Her baby clinging to life on September 11th. Her last hope, a donor organ far away. But all flights are grounded. Pilots warned they could be shot down.
If we didn't get this liver to this patient because of what the terrorists had done, then in fact they will have in effect killed someone else.
As a mother prepares for the worst, a few brave men accept a daring mission.
That's what makes this country great.
Also, something slightly surreal. A visitor to the newest exhibit at Madame Tussauds. From the toes up, an uncanny body double. Barbara with Barbara.
Are you all right, darling? Are they taking good care of you? Is everything okay? Why doesn't she talk?
Plus, it happens at the White House every Thanksgiving.
I'm going to give him a pardon.
A presidential pardon, and another lucky turkey is sent off to live the good life. But
where are these birds?
has something gone foul?
I'm John Stossel, and I say, give me a break.
2020 begins in 60 seconds.
You work on it.
You think on it.
You play on it.
It was kind of like this dream I'd always
It's comforting.
had.
You entertain on
You
it.
use it. You spend your life on it. Shouldn't it be the furniture you've always wanted?
And now it's easy with the Simple Finance Plan, only at Ethan Allen.
This holiday, give the magic of Disney to the ones you love. Share the enchantment of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, the timeless wonder of Dumbo, the fun of Recess Christmas.
Oh boy, the real Santa!
Ho, ho, ho! And together for the first time, all your favorite Disney characters in one movie, Mickey's Magical Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody!
Bring home any 2 Disney videos or DVDs plus Snow White, and you can get a 4th one free.
I found a way to protect my teeth from cleaning to cleaning.
Aquafresh Multi-Action Whitening. Its stain and tartar defense formula gets your teeth whiter, then keeps them whiter.
From cleaning to cleaning.
Aquafresh Multi-Action Whitening.
And now, from Times Square in New York, Barbara Walters.
Good evening, and welcome to 2020. How would you feel if your young son would rather playhouse than roughhouse? Or if he preferred dolls to trucks? Would it make you uncomfortable? Would it make you wonder? Should it? Deborah Roberts with a story that may change the way you look at GentleBoys.
Think of an all-American boy at play, and this is probably what comes to mind. Sword fights, make-believe shootouts.
I'm gonna shoot him.
It's just the way boys are, right? Well, not all boys. Meet 8-year-old Etienne Malaise. When we went toy shopping one day, he blew right past the ninjas and trucks, straight to the dolls, or characters as he calls them.
Okay, I'm gonna get this.
Okay, so Etienne realizes he's different.
Most people like me are not exactly, they don't consider themselves as a real boy.
They don't consider you a real boy.
They think that a real boy has to be really tough and can't do anything that's not tough. Hi.
Not tough? Who'd think boys would still feel that kind of pressure today? After all, Etienne's mother and sister are thriving in what used to be considered a man's world. They're both accomplished volleyball players. Terry Millay says it was a struggle being a female jock growing up, But today, no one thinks twice about her daughter. So why haven't the rules changed for her son?
Girls can be anything they want, actually. It's more trouble with boys.
In what way?
Because boys feel like they have to be really tough. Girls can be tough too. Or they can be fancy and smancy.
Girls have it a little easier?
It's way easier for them.
Boys are still in what I call a gender straitjacket. There's a very narrow definition of what acceptable masculinity is about. And we are scared to death that if a boy moves out of that, he won't grow up to be a real, healthy man.
How about this cute little doll? What do you think about this?
I don't play with that stuff.
You don't?
Dr. William Polluck, a Harvard psychologist and author of Real Boys, has spent years studying children's behavior.
Do boys play with dolls?
He says male babies actually start out more emotional and more attached to their mothers than girls, but that their natural gentleness gets drummed out of them very early by what he calls the boy code.
It goes something like this. Be a big man, stand on your own 2 feet, big boys don't cry, be strong, be macho, show bravado. That's the boy code.
Thank you. He loves to cuddle. He loves to hug and kiss. He's a very touchy-feely little boy. All set.
At 2 years old, Trevor Langlois knows nothing about the boy code. He adores his father, Chris, a construction worker.
Need help?
But tends to emulate his mother, Amanda. He likes his trains, but loves his dolls.
Do rockabye baby.
Something his family doesn't give much thought about until they step into a toy store.
They were looking at me like I had 4 heads, you know, just like, why would you buy your son a Barbie doll?
Barbie.
And I said, because he saw the little girl with a Barbie doll, and he said, Mama, I want a Barbie doll. People are like, well, yeah, but why didn't you bring him to the truck aisle? You know, he wanted a Barbie doll.
Amanda says her toddler son doesn't realize he's not supposed to like dolls.
He's 2 years old. He's a baby. And he doesn't know that dolls are girls' toys and that trucks are supposed to be boys' toys. He just knows that they're fun to play with and he wants to play with them.
Is that your favorite color? In their room, they have G.I. Joe or whatever. They have boys' toys. He doesn't have interest in playing with those. So why would I make him play with something that he's not happy doing?
Cassandra Arnold's son, Zach, is happiest cuddling with the 2 blankets he calls Rainbow and Flower and watching the Food Channel on TV. He even asked for a purse and makeup recently. And he likes pink nail polish. His mom says it hurts when relatives call Zach derogatory names like fairy, or his brother calls him a girl.
He'll say, I'm not a girl. I just like girl stuff. That's what he tells him. I'm not a girl. I like girl stuff.
I'm making cake.
Cassandra doesn't mind that he likes girl stuff, but worries that her sensitive son could be in for a harsh future.
I just want him to be strong enough to know the battles that may come because of it. That certain things are expected of men and women, and roles are defined.
Oh, gone.
And whether you conform to that or you don't, that's fine. But I want him to understand what he may be in for if he doesn't conform to that.
Turn around, honey.
Which is just what Yolanda Corley worries about with 4-year-old Alex. She's troubled by how different he is from most other boys, even his father, who is a professional football player, or his older brother, Ashton.
Yes.
Ashton, when he was a baby, he's 8 now, he loved to play with cars and motorcycles and the Power Rangers, and Alex has never been interested in any of that.
At what point did you become a little concerned, a little uncomfortable?
Probably not until the birth of my daughter, because he started playing with her dolls and all of her toys, you know, the baby bottles, the strollers, everything that she had, he wanted to play with.
Did it bother you?
Oh,
deeply?
yeah. I was like, oh, God.
She says she's deliberately tried to redirect his interest, buying him what she calls masculine toys.
You know, fire trucks and tow trucks and, just, race cars.
And how did he take to them?
His sister would play with them more than he would, really.
Do you like to cook?
Yeah.
The toy Alex loves the most these days is his kitchen set, which his mom finally bought after much soul-searching.
Is this appropriate buying him a stove? Am I doing something that's, going to be detrimental to my son? Is this going to, cause him to be more feminine, want to play with more feminine toys?
This is potatoes.
Dr. Polluck says the apprehension Yolanda feels is not unusual, but is misplaced.
All boys, like all human beings, have a sensitive, gentle part to them. It's just that with boys and men, we're less likely to let them express it. Would you play with the doll carriage?
We wanted to see how the boy code expresses itself in children's play, so Dr. Polluck helped us with our own unscientific experiment. We filled a room with toys, some traditionally considered boy toys, some girl toys, along with some neutral ones. Then we invited children from ages 4 to 8 to play.
But you stop this.
Mostly the boys seemed to choose boy toys. The girls, too, usually selected toys associated with their gender. But when they didn't, no one seemed to care. The boys, though, seemed to feel more pressure.
Would you like to play with the doll, like put it in a basket or something like that and take care of it?
Where's the basket?
Whoa.
Now.
Is there anything else in here that looks good besides
Watch
swords?
what happens when we offer this 4-year-old boy a classic girl toy.
Yeah, that's a girl.
Oh, it's for girls? When do they start to get the signal that that's not okay?
Well, generally, boys will play with so-called girl-like items and interact with girls up to 2, 3, 4 or so. And then all of a sudden, it seems like a curtain has come down, and you get that boy corner and that girl corner, and it's not allowed to be crossed.
Who's told them that's for girls, that's for boys?
It may be that someone said it to them. It may be they've absorbed it in the culture. I mean, they hear this message everywhere.
For some of these boys, just the sight of the pink dress, the tutu in front of them, was just repellent.
Well, it's almost like a terror.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, he's wearing earrings.
Then something happened which caught us off guard.
What about the last group of kids who played together when the little boy dressed up in the traditional girls' clothing? He put the bow on and the skirt and the earrings, and he was having great fun. Now, the other little boy in the group looked horrified at first.
Oh my God!
Well, and even though the girls enjoyed it, they looked almost a little surprised and shocked.
Oh my God!
My guess is they don't always play that freely, and we allowed it to happen. So it was sort of dangerously open. If it happened over and over and over again, we'd just start calling it normal.
But is it really normal for a boy to want to play with a doll and to want to wear girls' clothing?
It is not abnormal for a boy to want to play with things that we call girl things. We think that there are so many differences between boys and girls that we forget that we're one species and we live on one planet. And it's we adults who early on start pushing boys and girls to be more different than they need to be.
But it's difficult not to, says Alex Corley's mom, who tenses up when her son plays with his sister's toys or with that kitchen set which gives him so much joy.
What's your deepest concern, Yolanda?
Well, my deepest concern is that these traits may be a sign that, Alex is going to be homosexual. I don't know if homosexuality is something that people are born with or if it's learned or taught, and I don't want to do anything that might encourage it if that's what's going on with Alex. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't worry about his sister maybe being lesbian if she's playing with trucks or things like that?
No, I never have.
In fact, Yolanda delights in seeing her daughter playing with trucks or being tough. She sees it as a sign of strength and confidence. A double standard, she admits, but says she can't get beyond her fears for her son.
I'm going to love him regardless. But given the choice, I'd rather he be heterosexual than homosexual.
Is that it? Every parent we spoke with shared at least some of Yolanda's worries, especially since there are experts who say that feminine behavior in boys does suggest they're likely to be gay. Dr. Polluck says there's no proof.
We have no scientific evidence, no empirical evidence, no studies to show that boys who show their gentleness either through feeling or through playing with traditionally feminine objects are more likely to be gay. That's our fear in America. That's our homophobia.
Whatever it is, Etienne Malaise knows the pain of being different. He's felt the stinging glance of a disapproving stranger and suffered the torment of the schoolyard.
Do you have a lot of friends?
No, not that many, in fact.
So what's it like for you when you go out to recess?
Terrorizing.
Terrorizing?
Yeah. You're weird, you're stupid. Shouldn't be here. That's what I hate about that school. I hate my school.
Sadly, it's not only the kids who cause such anxiety. Terry and Phil Millay say they even have to protect their son from the bigotry of parents.
They don't want their masculine boys, you know, their boys, to play with Etienne because they're worried, I don't know if something's going to rub off.
They really worry about keeping another boy away from him for fear that
Yes.
their boys are going to become like him?
I think a lot of the parents really want their boys to be pure boys. And so if there's some non-boy behavior, it's very uncomfortable.
You two are fine with who he is, but what about the thoughtless kid who calls him a tomgirl, as he says, or a sissy? How do you protect him and help him with that?
Yeah, you know, you can't protect your kids from life. They're always going to be intolerant people. What you have to teach them is where those people are coming from and to feel good enough about themselves that they can withstand that. I can't create a perfect world for him. I can't create it for myself. I wish I could.
So Etienne has had to learn an adult lesson very young.
Now, what about when your friends come over here, like, say, like boyfriends that you have? Will you keep the doll out, or will they?
Most of them, I keep the doll out for. Some of them, I keep it in.
So when some boys come over, you put the dolls away?
I put the dolls away, but this is a boy doll, so I keep it out.
Isn't that pretty sad that these boys have to hide who they are in public?
Well, I find it one of the saddest things going.
In fact, Polluck says if boys are allowed to be sensitive and gentle, they're likely to grow up to be happily married men and nurturing fathers.
And I say to moms especially, if in your gut you know this boy is normal and he's just loving, don't let anyone disempower you from keeping him loving as long as you possibly can. What the heck? If we had more loving, caring men in America, that wouldn't be an illness. That would be a solution to many of our problems.
Deborah, Dr. Polluck talked particularly to the women. Now, the women in general, mothers seem to have less problems than many of the fathers. They don't mind their daughter being a tomboy, but they don't like the boys to be gentle. Is there any study that shows that there's a correlation between gentle boys and future homosexuality?
Nothing recent, Barbara. There was a very significant study done in the 70s and in the 80s that suggested that effeminate boys were likely to be gay. But that was a long time ago, and it was extreme cases, extremely effeminate boys, many who said they wanted to be girls. A lot of psychologists and a lot of experts dismissed this study.
So just let your child be happy?
Just let your child be happy. They use it as evidence to say, we don't know, let them explore.
Okay, you and Al Roker have a 3-year-old girl, right? And she plays with trucks?
Plays with lots of trucks.
What if you had a boy and he was playing with dolls? How would Al feel?
I would like to think that Al would be fine about it. I would like to think we're open enough. You don't know for sure, but I'd like to think so.
I bet he is. Thank you, Deborah. We'll be right back.